Hey guys, what's up? My name is Blinks, and today I wanted to take a look at the last team fight in the finals of the Americans Championships between Tempo Storm and Cloud9 in Game 5 on Black Hearts Bay. So kind of what I wanted to do is I wanted to walk through this team fight step by step and talk about like the good things I see, the bad things I see, and also like how close it really was. Um, a lot of people have been saying that like Tempo Storm threw or they were playing poorly, but I really don't think that's the case. And I literally think that this whole game, as well as this last team fight, came down to milliseconds and came down to inches. So the first thing I want to look at before we even on pause is that we see right now that Tyrande is dead, right? So Tempo Storm knows that at least for the next, let's say 10 seconds, maybe 15, because that's realistically how long it's going to take Tyrande to run from her base to middle where they are, that they have a numbers advantage, all right? So we see them getting these coins, and here immediately we see Zuna kind of walk up to them. And I think that, hold on, let's pause. I think that the first, not necessarily mistake, but the first thing that I would do differently is if I had seen them right there, I would have tried to engage immediately. Maybe even gone for like an aggressive E, an aggressive walk-in, because you know that you have 5 plus Abathur Hat and they only have 4. Like, Zuna saw, or Tempo Storm saw Cloud9 maybe like 5-10 seconds ago in game time. Let's say 5 seconds ago to be, on the conservative side. And we see that Tyrande is still just here. So they could have had a good 5-10 seconds of fighting, because she still has to make it over to the team fight. They could have had a good 5-10 seconds of fighting 4v5, which, already is really, really good. So we see Leo walk over to the left. We see Johanna kind of walk up into them. And here's where I think Joe makes kind of like a greedy play. So let's see what she does. She walks into Zag, and she uses her trait, right? She uses her passive, Unstoppable. Which, I mean, you have to remember that this is a game where everything's on the line. You don't want anything to happen to you. But I think that the only person close enough to her to do anything was Muradin, right? Like, Zag's not going to stun you. Jaina's not going to stun you. So I think he could have held on to that passive for a little bit longer, and it's possible that it could have helped him out later. He also has a Rhaegar healing him, so like if he's taking the damage, it's a lot easier for Rhaegar because that's more time for your Ancestral to land. Your Lightning Shield gets value because he's melee, so not only is it shielding him, it's also, what's it called? It's also doing damage to people around him. So already, just like a slight mistake there for Tempo, but I think C9 also made a slight mistake here with just like the positioning for Muradin. Because even as I say that he was like greedy and popping his trait, I think Caffeine still should have went for a stun. I think that, could have done something possibly to open up the fight even more for them. So let's keep going. Damage being traded. We see Leo. Leo gets a lot of damage on Muradin. This is why I was saying that Muradin stepped up a little bit too far there. And so while it's true that Tempo have enough to turn in, I don't think it's that much of a priority for Cloud9 to stop this turn in, because we don't see it right now because of the bar at the bottom of the screen. Right, there it is. So Tempo only needs 12 coins to turn in, which is fine, but C9 still has all their keeps. So right now this looks really, really, really good. C9's main tank is at like a third health. Tempo Storm's all full, but the problem is they're about to take, I wouldn't say a greedy trade, but just like they're about to trade in a way where they're trading 4 versus 2 rather than 4 versus 4. I guess we have Abathur Hat, so like 2.5, or sorry, 4 versus 2.5 or something like that. Anyway, I think that this is kind of the point where things start to go sour. So Tempo Storm pushes up a little bit too far here with Joe. I think they should have been leading with Leoric, and if they couldn't lead with Leoric, which they couldn't because he was rooted, they should have just like pulled Joe back a little bit, because at this point they no longer have an interest in hard engaging into Cloud9, simply because Tyrande is here now, right? Like 5-10 or yeah, probably 10 seconds ago at this point, like hard engage would have been absolutely sick. But right now there's no clone. I just don't see it as being ideal. We do see, however, that everybody's ult is still up, right? So that's important to look at. And I want to look at how this next death happens. So first of all, another thing, I think this blessed shield in a lot of situations can be really, really, really good, but we don't have anyone here that's able to follow up on it. So while Soldier's in a really, really good position, like if we had a Kael'thas down here, down here, down here, something like this, I think this Joe would have been 100% dead, because not only do we have double symbiote hat going, and Zuna's about to march, but we would have had a flame strike, chain bomb, tornado, like, and a mouth can't heal through all that damage. So let's keep watching, see what happens. All right, so this was actually like after that point, even though what's it called, Kael'thas isn't here, like this is exactly how you want to engage with a Johanna. You want a blessed shield, you want to stun 3 people, then you want to pull those people in so that it's easier for your team to follow up. So this means everything from like a Leoric Q to a flame strike to a bomb or something like that. And I honestly think at this point, if everyone had been in position and if we had had a clone on Arthalon, then I think the teamfight would have gone a lot differently, right? Because that's boom. If you get a flame strike on those 3 people, that's huge, and a chain bomb. Like that's probably half of all their health's gone, and then you can Black King's March into it. So it's really sick. All right, so we see Leoric Q. That's really important. He slows them. Zagara's pretty low here. And I think Leo's about to Black King March. So we see C9 right now, like, popping all their ults, or popping 3 of their ults, 4 of their ults, sorry. And there's only 1 ult used on the side of Tempo Storm. So right now, still, it's like in a really good position. However, what it's going to come down to is, this is what I was talking about when I'm talking about inches and milliseconds. So take a look at this Maw. Johanna is like right on the side of this Maw right here, and barely gets into it. It was a great Maw by iDream. But if he had been able to get out, I really don't think that what Arthalon would have died. We'll see how that happens soon. And once again, take a look at iDream's health. Like, it's so low. This game is so much about positioning that if we had had an Abathur clone, if we had had the damage up close, like to Zagara when that engage happened, I think that it would have been a 5v4 in Tempo's favor at this point. That's actually one of the reasons that I'm not the biggest fan of Abathur comps, is that a lot of times you have to like pre-plan engagements, and you can't take advantage of those split-second decisions by tanks, by like a Johanna to Blessed Shield, and then totally blow someone up, right? I mean, Abathur's good for other things, but personally, I'm not the biggest fan. All right, so we see Johanna go in the Maw, and what does that mean? That instantly means that Tempo Storm loses almost all control of the fight on their side. So the only forms of control we have Arthalon with his Twisting Nether, his Tornado, Dreadnought with Earthbind Totem, and then Leoric with his Skeletal Swing, it's called. And quite frankly, none of those are really good enough. So let's see what happens. We get Joe in the Maw, Arthalon gets thunderclapped, and then like Leoric's still marching, Dread's over here, and I just want to bring it back to Johanna being in the Maw. Because Johanna's in this Maw, she cannot peel for Arthalon. And let's take a look at this. Alright, he gets stunned. We have Dreadnought running over here. But look at this split. We don't have an Abathur clone, and Johanna's in the Maw. So really, like, what can Arthalon do? Not much. Like, I'm telling you as a support player, this is the absolute max range for what's it called, for ancestral healing. So as soon as he's in range, he gets his ancestral healing done. But because there's no peeling, because there's a Murden on him, there's a water elemental on him, like it just barely misses. Look at that great bolt by Fan here to move up, and then just like look at that, wrecks him. But that ancestral was milliseconds away from completing, And even though like C9 has used all their ults, and Tempo Storm still has two other ults up. The fact that this Maw came out was just absolutely huge, because I think that if that Maw had not hit Johanna, then Arthon would still be alive, and this could be like a really, really, really different team fight. So honestly, at this point in the game, it's pretty much over. I don't think that it is possible for them to get out. Like, this is something that happens with a support a lot, and it's really unfortunate. Like, you try to save someone, and you have to make this choice. I mean, you always have to make the choice of saving them, right? Because you got to trust your teammates. But you have to make this choice between, all right, like if I don't save that person, or if I don't land my ult, it's possible that both him and I will die, right? So that's possible 2 deaths. If I land my ult, maybe we'll both live. But if I don't do anything, if I just run away, then like just he will die. By the way, take a look at this. Look at that passion. Look at that fan hot's passion. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure Dread dies here because, I mean, he tried to save Arthalon and he had to, right? So, oh, maybe he doesn't die. All right, but anyway, at this point, like, once Kael'thas is dead, the fight's over. They don't have any damage left. They have double symbiote, they have Leoric, but realistically, against basically double support, Tyrande and Malfurion, they cannot damage the other team enough to kill them, even if all of them are spending all of their skills on one person. So this is pretty much when the fight ends, when the game ends, is when Kael'thas dies. We see Dread going down there in the bottom. Leoric's about to die here, and honestly, like, if I was in on their comms, I would just be like, yeah, we just won, because there's no coming back from this. At level 22, 21 minutes in with an open core, very, very hard to do anything about it. So we see that Rhaegar died, now Johanna's about to die, once again Fan being incredibly passionate, you can see the esports in his eyes, and yeah, like, that's it. That team fight came down to an excellent Maw by Zagara and just not being quite together enough to follow up against the Engage. So it was by no means a stomp. It was by no means like a throw or anything like that. It's literally like a game of inches. And I really do think that that's what's interesting about Heroes of the Storm, that it's a game of milliseconds and a game of inches. And because of the fact that you can't necessarily farm and carry like you can in Dota 2 or like you can in League of Legends, positioning is just so incredibly important in this game that, I mean, obviously Hero League games come down to positioning a lot. I know you guys know when your teammates run out and get killed and you're like, what are you doing? But also, pro level games basically come down to positioning. Anyway, I hope that kind of give you guys an insight about what to look for in team fights, rather than just like who stunned who used their ults, etc. Here's the Storm is really cool. Like, it's a lot deeper than people think. So if you guys enjoyed this series, if you thought that this analysis was too deep and you want me to go broader, or maybe you want me to go even deeper, go like, I don't know, play by play, ability by ability, I can do that too. But I think that this is a pretty good level of depth for analyzing at least like top level plays. So if you guys like the video, please like it on YouTube. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Did I talk too much? Did I talk too little? And also, if you enjoy seeing these types of videos, please don't forget to subscribe. I am striving to put out content daily. So let me know what you guys want to see. Anyway, my name is Blinks, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Which was really strange for us. I'm sure you all know, a lot of people don't really take heroes, they're really tasty, so we already thought there was something weird which was going on. And even after that first event, we thought that maybe they would go tank this concept. So 2 reasons for that, obviously, first, so a lot of them, so as soon as they do, so